Hello, welcome back to Conversation at the Park. My name is Kevin Peters, one of the ministers here at the Park Church of Christ in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Excited to have you guys back for another week. Last week we started our series within this series of talking to our missionaries that we support from here in Tulsa. Last week we talked with Ron and Laura Clark out of Portland, Oregon. Such great work that they're doing. So great to catch up with them. Go check that video out. Learn how to pray for them. This week I'm excited to go south to Brazil's capital city of Brasilia and chat with our missionaries Otavio and Alessandra Calegari and their kids Esther and Otavio Gusto. You'll learn in just a minute why this church family loves them so much. Long, deep history with this family and our church family here in Tulsa. And I'm also excited that tonight joining us is Jamie Sweeney, our missions coordinator here at the park. Has a special relationship with all of our missionaries, but knows and loves this family deeply. She spent time with them down in Brazil. They've been in her home here in Tulsa. So we're excited to have Jamie joining us as well. Jamie always brings a good flair and a good energy and life and love into any conversation she's in. So thank you, Jamie, for joining us. If you are new to watching this Conversations at the Park, or you're new to the Park Church of Christ at all, you may be watching this on YouTube, you may be watching this through Facebook. I want you guys to know that our YouTube page is being populated with more and more videos, more than ever before. So go check us out on our YouTube channel. All of our previous church services with the sermon clips clipped out as well, a whole bunch of Bible classes, youth ministry things, children's ministry things, all sorts of things that give you just a snapshot of what life is like around here at the park. But without further ado, we're excited to get to the Calegari family in this week's episode of Conversations at the Park. Well, welcome, family. I'm here with Jamie Sweeney, our missions coordinator here at the park, and Otavio Calegari and his family. Otavio, we're incredibly grateful to be with you today. Thank you for joining us from Brasilia, Brazil. We're just grateful. First of all, we'd love to know how you're doing, but introduce us to your family and tell us how you guys are today.
Okay, first of all, hello everybody. It's a very pleasure for us, an honor to be with you and share a little of our family, our work here in Brasilia. And we need to say thank you for all these years we have been supported by Park Plaza Church of Christ. We are very grateful for everything. So my name is Otavio Calegari. I am an evangelist here in Brasilia, capital of Brazil. That's Alessandra, my wife, and that's this. What's her name? Esther. That's Esther, my daughter. Esther, she is 16 years old. She is studying high school, second year in high school. And Otavio Augusto, he's 20 years old, and he is studying a college. Accountability. Accountant. Yeah.
Accounting.
Yeah, accountant. Yeah, you understand.
Yeah, we got you.
And he is now in second year. But now in Brazil, the university stopped. They stopped this year. This semester is freeze.
So you're all living at home for now.
Yeah, we live in an apartment in Águas Claras. It's 10 miles from the church. It's apartment. It's a small apartment, but we are living at home. Otavio Augusto lives with us. Even when he is studying, he lives with us because the university is near here.
Very good. Very good. Well, so glad you guys are with us. Jamie, you've had a relationship with this family for a number of years. tell us about your experiences with this family and how you know them.
You know, my favorite memory of them, and one of my first ones, is we had met and knew each other, but when the Nitroy Church was opening, you know, Otavio and his family were already in place in Brasilia and already working there. And when they didn't know the missionaries in Niterói, but when the Nitroy Church was ready to open back in 2010, this family got on a plane and flew to Niterói, flew to Rio and came to Niterói to celebrate with that church. Wow. And those missionaries opening that church. And we had a great week together. I remember going to the beach with you guys and you ordering the best fish I've ever had in my life, Otavio, on the beach that day. But I just remember those giving hearts really spoke to Christ living in them, just to pick up their lives on their own dime, fly to another city to participate and celebrate with that family there.
It was very happy to be there. It was very nice. The church started very impressive way, and the weather was fantastic. We could visit all good points in Rio de Janeiro, unless the Sugarloaf. We could not go to the Sugarloaf, but everything else we visit. It was
the Christ statue and all the fun stuff. Yeah.
It was very nice.
You know, I think people would enjoy knowing about Brasilia and how it was designed as the capital. That's such a unique thing. We don't really have that here. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Brasilia is a planned city, and it's drawn like an airplane. The design of the city is an airplane. So there is the south wing and north wing, and the body of the airplane, and the government is in the cabin as an airplane, as the point of the airplane. The church is the north wing, and it is a very new city for a capital like this size. We have 3 million people living in Brasilia, and the average age is 40 years old. So it's a young city. There are more families starting and families with kids in our age. we match with Brasilia. We have the same age of the average people here, and it is a city with people with good graduate, good education level, and Brasilia has more money than the rest of Brazil. It makes the city very expensive to live here, and so we need to live a little far from, because it's not easy to live in Brasilia side by side of the church. Is much more expensive.
So but how long has Brasilia been a city?
60 years.
60 years.
60
years, yes, 60.
60.
Okay.
It was inaugurated in 60. 1960. Juscelino Kubitschek was the president, and he inaugurated Brasilia. Everything was built in 4 years. They built all the city, the streets, energy system, water system, everything.
Wow. And
it was very new, but now the city got old, everything together. So everything needs to fix. Now the buildings in downtown are old buildings, and a lot of buildings are being refurbished, and they need to have some fix something. The energy system, everything. But it's a very pleased city. The weather here is very nice. Let me show you a little about my place here. Sure. I live in Espadas. I don't see what you see. are seeing.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's a
here is
great view.
a lot of buildings.
Yeah,
Uh, Águas Claras, Águas Claras is near of Brasilia, and it was built for the middle class
Mhm.
that cannot live in Brasilia. They live here.
It makes me homesick for Brazil.
Uh, yeah, but the weather you can see now is our winter. Uh, It's 27 Celsius degree. I believe that it's 80
It's
Fahrenheit.
about 80 degrees. Yeah.
yeah,
I think it's,
That's a pretty good winter.
yeah.
so the church in Brazil uh, is a small church yet, but is growing. But the city is a good place to live. Is more safe than other places in Brazil. When you go to Rio de Janeiro or São Paulo, you need to be very careful about stealers, and uh, it's not safe. And
Yeah.
here in Brasilia, we have more like United States. The city has a commercial area, industrial area. Everything is planned, and there is a place for school, a place for uh, churches. There are some blocks only churches. It's
Mm,
funny because you can see Presbyterian church, Catholic church,
Hmm.
Church of Christ. Everything is near, so you need to compete. It's a little crazy.
yeah.
You know, we see you guys because you're Brazilian. We tend to think of you, and you are. You're national missionaries. You live in the country of your origin, and you're working there. But you guys, um, you're not from Brasilia, so this is not your home. You've actually left your homes to move there
Mm.
to work with that church. So tell us where you're from, if you would.
We are from São Paulo. São Paulo is the biggest city in Brazil. 20 million people. There is a crazy city. Uh, Last week I needed to go there for my mom's funeral, and you can see the pollution. We used to say that here in Brasilia we don't like the air because I cannot trust in air that I cannot see, because in São Paulo likes the pollution. It's used to pollution. So, but here is much better. I had some health problem living in São Paulo because my asthmatic,
Mm.
uh, and here in Brazil I don't have it anymore.
Wow.
Years and I didn't have maybe one crisis, but it was very useful for me. Normal. Every week in winter I had some health problem. So I prefer very much living in Brazil. But my parents and Alessandra parents, they live in São Paulo. Brothers, everybody is in São Paulo. It's 600 miles from Brasilia. We need to take an airplane, 2 hours, 1 hour and a half. It's easy. It's not a big problem because as Brasilia is the capital, a lot of flights to São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, it's not so difficult to go to other states. But we don't use to go every weekend.
Yeah.
Normally we go visit our parents once or twice a year, 6 months. And we have the camp in São Paulo. The church in São Paulo has a camp, and my kids loves to go there.
Mm.
And every year they go. They take the airplane by their own, and they go spend a month there with some friends' homes or parents, our parents. So that's it.
So
You
tell us,
know,
how long have you been living in Brasilia, and how long has the church, just 60 years is very young for a city. So how long has the church that you are working with, how long has that church been there, and how long have you guys been there? What's your status there?
Yeah, we are living here for 11 years now. That's a lot of years, 11 years. And our kids were small kids. Otávio Augusto was 10 and Esther was 4 years, almost 5 years. And it's a long time. The church here started in the 80s. Jerry Heidrich and Ellis Long have been here. Ronald Prater, Ron Prater, and other guys. Mark Abisher worked here. I think that Mark Abisher spent here 5 years in 90s. And Bob Carpenter have been here for some years. I think that it was 7 years too. And so we have, Brasilia had a lot of families working here for a long time. The church here has 40 years now. That's a long time. But the working in the beginning was moving. Didn't spend time in the same place. And it was very hard to grow because you don't have an identity. You don't have a place to start. And the rent buildings, the cost to rent a building was growing every time, and the church could not grow. So they decided they needed a building, and I think in 90s they could rent, have some money with some church give. I think that was 7 churches. Each church gave $50,000 each church. And Park Plaza helped in that time, and they bought the land, the area to build the church, to build the building.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when Basil and Rachel McClure were there?
Yeah, Basil.
I think so.
Good. I forgot Basil. Thank you. You remember.
The park has an interesting history with this church because from what I'm remembering, when this church first planted, one of our longtime members, Ray and Roberta Webb, he was an elder or on the missions committee in Springfield, Missouri, and that eldership helped to plant the church there in Brasilia. And then later, Park had a relationship with Basil and Rachel McClure, who were there during the time that you're talking about. And now here we are helping you guys in your work. So it's been a long relationship with a lot of different elements coming in there. Yeah.
The first time the guys from Park Plaza came here, the elders, Ray came together and he visited us. It was very, very nice to have Ray again here. And it was one more motive to say thank you for Park Plaza, because it is a long time relationship. Yeah. So I think that I answered all your questions. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Well, and we love hearing from our missionaries, and especially in different parts of the world. And we assume lots of things will be different where you are from where we are, no matter who we're talking to in different parts of the world. But there's one thing now that we can both relate to, the thing that has happened all over the world and impacted us in such a major way, being the coronavirus. So tell us how the virus has impacted your family and your church.
My family was almost normal. This event about my mom, dad, it was very different because it was suddenly. She was very fine, good health, everything. She was 67 years old, and good health, everything fine. And suddenly, she started having some malaise. She was not fine, and she went to the doctors. They said, no, it's nothing. Don't worry about that. Go home. And she got worse in 4 days. She died in hospital, and it
Very
was
sorry.
very yeah, very sad. And suddenly we were not prepared for that because she was so fine, and that shows us how this coronavirus can be so strong against old people.
Yeah.
Not old, because my mom is not so old, but 67 years, 6, 7 years. She was very young. She could live for more 20 years, maybe more. I don't know. But uh, the doctor said that the test was not coronavirus, but she had all the symptoms. It looked like coronavirus, and it was very quick. She had a stroke. It's a different kind of stroke, not so strong. And after that, she was in the hospital and had a heart attack, or heart stopped. The heart stopped, and they revived her. But after 1 hour, she had another one, and she died. So it is the most impacted uh, for coronavirus. But here for us, uh, Alessandra parents are fine. They are with good health. My family, Otávio Augusto is working at home. He has a office in his room. Esther made an office for her too to study. Now she study more and better. She had better grades than before. She said that the people in her class talked too much, and now they mute the microphone from the others, and fine. So she can study more, and she is fine. She loves to study at home. For her, in her opinion, they don't need to go back. Uh, Alessandro is spending time at home as everywhere everybody else. Sometimes the English words stop.
Oh, you're doing great. You're doing great.
And she works at home. We made an office for her here, like this you showed, uh, and we prepare a table and a special uh, chair because she has some back uh, some problems in her back. And so we prepared everything that now she spent a lot of time working preparing the lessons because she is a teacher, and now she cannot the schools are closed, but the kids are receiving some lessons. She prepared the exercise, the class, sent to the parents, and the parents spend pass that to the kids. They prepare an exercise, she correct that, and give back. Everybody in Brazil that can works at home are working home, and
Well,
me too. So we are spending a lot of time together at home. we,
well,
we
we love supporting you guys as missionaries, but also um, once a year we make a special effort here to pray just for all of our teachers who are in the church, and so we will make sure and include you and your family in that prayer for our teachers as well. teachers are going through an incredibly interesting and difficult time, just balancing this new normal. So, Alessandro, we'll make sure and be praying for you when we pray for all of our teachers here as well. So, what has been?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, what has been the biggest impact on the church as a whole there in Brasilia?
Yeah, I have some pictures I would like to share with you. If you allowed me to compartilhar, share the screen.
Yeah. I'll just make you a co-host here, and
Okay. That I can now. I prepared that. I sent that for you guys in March, but I put more pictures and more slides because I'm talking about my family here.
yeah,
Here is new. So we start having the worship at home, and after 1 week we prepared a green screen,
yeah,
and that's the pulpit. We moved that for a kind of studio. We prepare a studio in the church, and we start having the worship, the preachings and everything else here in this studio. But after some weeks, or I think 8 weeks, the government allowed the church that has more than 200 spots, space for 200 people, and that's our case. We have 300 space for 300 people, and now we can return to the worship normal. And this is our classroom, and we prepare a TV with YouTube, and the guys who goes to the church to work in the virtual worship stay here waiting for their time to go to have the Lord's Supper, or the offerings, or the opening of the church, the worship. And Junior prepared worship videos with him working, singing the bass, tenor, alto, and sopranos, and he prepared that. And every worship we have the music and everything virtual, and our brothers in their homes like us here, we had the worship in the TV, having the Lord's Supper up. Our oops, close here. But see that okay, but and when we have the singing, we sing together. Everything we did that. We dress as we were going to the church. Everything. Doing that by online, by Zoom or YouTube or Facebook. Skype? No, not Skype.
Não, mas a aula, né, que você vai de terça.
And here is a small group meeting. So after 1 week, we start using Zoom for our meetings. And here is a meeting about parents growing kids. I administrate a course, 17 classes about growing kids, and those couples were participating by Zoom with us. Our home office, some pictures. Esther studying. Can you see her here? Alessandra working, Otávio Augusto working, and me using a special support. It's a box, shoe box, to make my monitor higher.
I'm very familiar with that. That's basically what I'm doing right now.
And the life almost normal. Valentine days in Brazil, it was in June, and Alessandra gave me a cake, Kit Kat cake.
Kit Kat.
Oh, wow.
Brigadeiro.
It's wonderful. Here, our worship at home, and 4 weeks ago, the government allowed us to return. So some sisters in the church prepared the building with some address. How can I say that? But some
Decorations.
decorations. Thank you. And we brought one banks we put together and block it. Here you cannot sit in this seat, and you can sit here, and we prepared a space, and everybody could go with safety. But most part of the church cannot go there because who are 60 or older cannot go, and who are 12 or younger cannot go to. And we had few brothers in the worship. It was a little sad, but it was a mix, sad and happiness, because we could return and have some people in the church building singing together and praising our God. But in the same time, it was sad because a lot of brothers cannot go, and some brothers could go, but they are afraid to go, and they decided to be at home. And we said to them, it's okay if you are not ready to go, if you are afraid and you don't feel, don't, there is no problem. Stay home and have your worship at home. We continue having the worship by internet. Junior is leading the music. I think that's it. I had more stuff to show, but we can see that the church is fine, but we cannot have more evangelistic events. Everything is stopped. Our classrooms stopped. We don't have Sunday Bible school for different average. We have some short classes for kids, and we have the master classes. Only one class, and it is by YouTube and Facebook. And sometimes when we have a special teacher from other cities, we can have like Howard Norton. We had Bob Carpenter teaching us about having eldership, and it was useful because we could have those guys from far from United States, from other parts in Brazil, and we are trying to use something not good, but in a good way, trying to have the best part of everything. But everything is very bad. I need to say that this coronavirus is not good. Sometimes we listen to some people say, oh, there is a good part because people will learn to respect others. It's not. I don't agree. Everything is bad, and we need to keep going and take the best way to keep going, but it's not easy. we are calling the brothers. Uh, we have 5 guys in the church that they are the leaders. I am one of them, and we separate the list of members. It is 110 members, and each one take 25 brothers, and we are calling for the families, having the small groups, having some virtual visits. Uh, but we had a lot of bad moments, uh, like my mom and one other sister in the church lost her daughter. She was 32 years old, and she had some mental problems. She was in a clinic. It was not several mental problems, but a problem with drugs addicted. And she had something. No one can explain what happens, but 30 years old, and she died. It was very sad, very dark moment. And another brother, Valdeli, a very happy guy, very strong, and he had a car accident with a motorcycle, and he was in the hospital for 3 months. And we were praying about him, and he almost died maybe several times. He was totally, the doctor says that he will not survive, and we pray a lot, and now he's fine. And that's one thing very good. And the church prayed together. So we don't know really how the church is. We don't know. We can imagine. We can call someone and say, how are you? And they are fine, but they are not fine. They are tired to be at home. They are some of them are losing jobs. Some of them are struggling with some disease. So it's a hard moment. It's
Thank you
not.
for being honest about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it gets exhausting just trying to put the positive face on everything all the time, doesn't it?
No, the real thing is we would like to have the vaccine as soon as possible and returns to the normal, not the new
There's a
normal.
Brazilian doctor working on the vaccine, right?
We are very close to have a vaccine. There is a vaccine from Oxford.
Yeah.
And there is another one from China. I don't know if it's good, but I don't know. Maybe they are fixing the mess they started. It should be more just. Uh, and now in Brasilia, this week we will start the Chinese vaccine test. They are testing the vaccine. 9,000 people will test that.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah,
I
there's
think
lots of good testing going on, and so yeah, we are hopeful that we're near a vaccine. That would be great news. Really, a lot of what you're saying will ring so true and so similar to our life here. Everything you just described about how you're doing church and how you're partially coming back and it's good, but it's hard, and you're doing video things and Zoom things, that describes us perfectly. And to the point that this is hard, and everything that we thought that, oh, this is new and it's interesting, all that's gone away, and now it's just hard. And so I want you guys to know that we're standing beside you, arm in arm, with you during this, in the same boat. And we're I'm encouraged to see all the things that you're doing and all the ways that the church is working and the leaders are working. And we have the same thing too. There's a lot of our members that we're not in touch with, and so we're trying to make efforts to be able to get in touch with everybody. So very, very similar to what you guys are going through. So in a lot of ways, we're just very encouraged by you and by your heart and your resilience, your ability to keep going and keep going, and for your family. We're just incredibly grateful.
Thank you. Last week or some days ago, I talked with Don Milica and Donna.
Mm-hmm.
We had a Zoom meeting, and it was about my mom and the grief moment, and it was very special for me because someone very spiritual like them talking with us, to supporting and having some good words. We need that. And he told me the same thing, that everyone is passing for the same challenge, and we are trying to superate, to win that together, and but apart from, but together. And we are doing what we can do the best. The funny thing is we can do more now because people are more open for virtual things, virtual classes or preaching. Yesterday I preached. Manaus is a very north Brazilian city in Amazonas, and I sent the video 10 days ago, and they had my preaching yesterday. I didn't see because it was in the same moment we were having our worship here, but it's nice. There is a radio program on Tuesday morning, and I am giving classes for a lot of churches in Brazil about growing kids, and we have a ministry for couples on Tuesday night and Friday night, and they invite some teachers or someone to talk about couple meetings, and I speak there twice, and we have some opportunities, and we are trying to use that. The church is trying to help the need. We have agreement with a people, not a people, a community, and near the church, and they are very poor. It was a kind of favela. How do you say favela?
Islam.
Islam, yeah.
Islam.
And they are very needy. So we have some basic stuff, and we prepare kits, and each month we took them. Last month was 40 basic kits, and more milk too. We have a box of milks. It was 12 liters of milk, and we took there, and they deliver for the most need families, and the church is doing that more than before, more than we have that, and the church is offering more than normal. Our offerings grow. It was very surprise for us. We didn't expect that, but the church is giving more money than before. I don't know how we can explain that, but maybe they feel that everyone is needing, so they are more opening. I believe that we will be able to take some positive some points positive, but everything is going well, but difficult. That's it.
Sure. Jamie, from what you see, I always love to ask, what do you see God doing? And maybe from another perspective, it might be helpful for you guys to even see very clearly. Jamie, from even your perspective, how do you see God working? Maybe how have you seen God work in this family, in this church? And what do you see God doing with them now? Maybe speak into that for a minute.
Well, that's a good question. I noticed while he was showing some of his photos, Otavio, it reminded me of even more connections that we have with you guys. You know, Junior is leading worship there, but Junior's been here a few times to attend the World Worship Leaders Institute that Keith Lancaster was hosting. And many years that was happening right here in Tulsa at the Park Plaza Church, the old building. And so he's gone back, and he's a blessing to not only that church, but to many others, as you guys host events, singing events there too. And I know that we've sent from Park many of our members to come and do Let's Start Talking projects with you. And I know when they see this, they're going to just be in tears, you know, remembering their time there with you guys and with the readers there. That they, I know we've got one family here, Joe and Carol Perry, who were there for LST a few years ago, and they made such good friends there that they still travel with them. They go on vacation with them, and the friends come and visit.
10 years ago.
10 years? Has it been that long?
And they have some friendship with Marli and Jose Ailton.
Yeah.
Went to the United States and visit them.
Yeah.
We are always talking, having some meetings by Facebook, changing some messages.
That's cool. Well, this church, from what I see, this church just has a lot of influence. You know, with your radio program and so many things, and just you're talking about the outreach that you just preached in Manaus on yesterday. You know, a long way away, and it was a lot easier for you to do it from there than it would be to travel. So even during this time, you as a church are still having a lot of influence, and you as a family are having a lot of influence on others.
Okay, thank you very much. And it was very nice to see you. I went to Park Plaza 12 years ago, in July 2008. And I went to visit Joe and Carol home, and Jamie Sweeney and Patrick. We went to your home too. And we spent 1 month in Don Milliken home. And we visit more people. I don't remember everyone, but I remember Eddie Moser to his home. So give him a big hug. He is a very good example.
You know, you may not know this, Otavio. We just lost him a couple of months ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
Well, we love him, and he loved you guys. So it's time for you guys to come back and visit again. Hopefully that can happen before long.
Yeah, we need to prepare our visa and passports to go visit you again. Our passport and visa expired a lot of years ago.
Well, now you have time to do it. So
yeah, now we need to do that.
Yeah.
Well, Otavio and your family, you all can chime in. Tell us one or two things that we can be praying for specifically for your family or for the church.
Ok, tem uma coisa que você gostaria de orar?
Pedir oração?
Pode pedir algo. Isso.
Ai, não, por minha saúde, né, cara? Se puder explicar, né? Que eu tomo remédio, que Deus me ajude na minha cabeça.
Alessandra asked some prayers about her health because she is forgetting some words, and she has some problems that it's a kind of, I think that is an anxious problem. Anxiety, yeah. She takes some medicines, but she needs prayers about that. And then de oração?
Sei.
No?
Especificamente.
I pray for Otávio Augusto too, because sometimes he is a kind of depressed, but it's not uh, huge. He's also having some psychology treatment, meetings with psychology. And Junior helps very much with him too. But he is fine. But pray about his life, because we have some struggling sometimes. And Esther, I ask prayer for her. She's fine, but I love her, and I always want her better than now. And we would like to pray about the future in the church in Brazil. Now, in November, in December, our contract with our partners ends here in Brazil, and we didn't close a agreement to renew that for next year or for next period of years. So it makes us very anxious about that, and we need to reduce. So, but it's not easy, and we join all the mess because coronavirus, and our contract finishing now, and it's difficult to not be worried about that, because now in Brazil we have maybe a economic crisis, not maybe, very probably we will have a huge crisis in Brazil. We don't know the size, but apparently it will be the worst one we never have. And it will not be easy to find jobs, and so we are worried about the future of the church and our family, and we please pray for us to have more visibility. We need to see a little more. We are trusting God. We are trusting in the church. We are believing that everything will be fine. But in the same way, we need to plan, and we need some more visibility. There is this word, visibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jamie mentioned this before, but really thank you for being so honest. That is as refreshing, really, even though there's some difficult things, but this is what we wanted today. We wanted to know how we can specifically lift you up and stand beside you and know that you are a part of this family. You guys have been a part of this church family for a long time. And so we want to make sure your heads are kept lifted by our Lord. There's certain passages in the Bible that are labeled doxology, and which are really just these statements of faith and hope and praise given to God. And the one that sticks out to me so much recently is the one in the book of Jude. At the very end of the book of Jude, it says, "To him who is able to keep you from stumbling." And I think right now for the entire church, but I also want to pray that over your family and over your ministry, that the God who is able to keep you from stumbling will present you before his glorious presence without fault and with great joy. an amazing passage for this specific time. And so it's encouraging for me to know that, and want you guys to know that in your heart of hearts, that we pray for you to the God who is able to keep you from stumbling. And so we pray that your hearts and your minds and your spirits are lifted in these coming days, and that the Lord will continue to reveal how he's working through you, and the vision for the future of your church and your family. Jamie, what do you want to add to close things out today?
Bem, Alessandra, Augusto, Esther, amamos vocês todos. Love you so much. It's our honor to work with you and to pray for you. And you're not alone. We are with you.
Thank you. I love you too. Thank you.
Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. Park family, this has been another episode of Conversations at the Park. Thank you for being here with us. We'll see you guys again real soon. He's guiding me. He's guiding. Yes,